Over to
Okay,
you.
so hello everyone. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for your time joining the webinar today. I'm very honored to connect you to Mr. Colum Cronin, our senior international officer from DCU, and our lovely student Chau. She's doing our operation program to the bachelor program at DCU, and hopefully the sharing today from Colum and also from Chau can give you very useful information about DCU, about how students they're doing with the situation and how their online study will look like. And hope that everyone will take something benefit so for you in your daily work. Um, so that you can share with your students. If you have any questions like Jacob shared, please type in so that we can get more information from Colum and Joe. So I think that's all today. Colum, we have about more than 25 agencies joining the webinar today with I think about 30 or more staff are on the line. So I hope that if you have anything specific about Vietnamese student community there, you can share with our agents as well. So that's all from me.
Perfect.
That, that's great. Thanks so much, Trang. So Colum, over to you. Tell us a bit about life in Dublin right now.
Sure, thank you very much, Jacob. And hi, everyone. It's great to have the opportunity to talk to you all. And I think it's wonderful that we have a student ambassador on the call as well, because I think the student experience is so vital to all of this. But to give you a little bit more, I suppose, info on what's been going on in Ireland. So right now we are still within the restriction period, and we will probably find out on Friday about what the next phase is. So they had introduced restrictions in Ireland around everyone working from home, around a kind of a 2 kilometre zone in which you had to conduct most of your business. And that was until the 4th of May, and we find out then what the next steps will be. I think Ireland's response overall has been very commendable, particularly in how it has responded to the needs of our international students. The two things I would probably point out is for any international students who had been working and lost their jobs due to COVID-19, they were eligible for the pandemic payment. And it didn't matter about anyone's immigration status. What they took into account in relation to that was whether somebody had lost a job or not. And so that means that students who have been financially impacted have been able to receive that payment. So as long as somebody has remained in Ireland, they are able to continue to receive that, and that's €350 a week. The other thing is for students who are still in a job, the government made it so that they could work full time. So as long as they continue with their online studies, because that's so important, but they could what they could do is work full time and then study. So that additional time that maybe they had because they could, they're not directly in lectures or going to campus, they could use that to work, because many of our international students and the students from Vietnam are involved in critical areas. They're involved in healthcare, they're involved in social work, they are involved in retail, so keeping groceries available. So what we have found is international students have been able to fill in. So maybe you had a parent who, because schools are closed, they had to stay home and mind their children. And international students have been able to bridge that gap and to keep supply chains running, and to be able to ensure that people are able to get the food, the groceries, all of the things that they need so that they can remain at home and stay safe. So I think Ireland's response has been really good, really positive overall. I think we're going to see potentially that we're moving into the next phase, and that's what's being worked out at the moment. We'll get more information on that, I think, on Friday, and we'll probably be able to plan a little bit more after that. And in terms of knowing what the next steps are in all of this. but we have begun to see, I suppose, some of the businesses that had actually, remained physically closed now have an online presence. So in the same way that universities move to online teaching, and businesses are now doing that, and we have seen a rise both in terms of online shopping, but also I suppose for restaurants that can no longer have patrons sitting in there right now, but they have moved to delivery. So I think overall given the unprecedented nature, given the fact that this was a situation that nobody could have foreseen when the semester began, I think Ireland and DCU has responded really well. I think DCU has endeavoured wherever possible and within reason to look after the students and to ensure that their learning and their safety is paramount. And maybe that might be a good point to hand over to our student ambassador to hear their experience.
Yeah, great idea, Colum. Thanks so much. And just before we do, I just wanted to stress that point. Colum listed some of the amazing things the Irish government is doing to support international students here, particularly that €350 per week payment for anybody that's lost a job. That's not just available to Irish citizens, not just to EU citizens, but available to non-EU citizens, to international students here. And obviously that's so important for our students here. It's really supporting them, but also I think it sends a really great message from the Irish government that says, look, we value you. We want you here. You're an important part of our society and our economy, and we want you to stay here, if at all possible. So a great sign, I think. But hey, Chau, let's hear from you, a student living this experience. How's life under lockdown for you in Dublin?
Yeah, I know. But actually, I think it's getting water, but I think good. I can hang out to breathe fresh air because I think almost accommodation in Ireland have a park. So I realize this. But I continue studying online, stay at home. I can connect with my tutor by Skype or email. They can exchange the information on homework. I think is study online is the first time I study online, so I think very excited. And actually, my tutor try their best to keep connect with everyone, and I think it's very good.
That's great, Chau. Thank you very much. I was just typing a reminder into the chat box there. If anybody has any questions for me, for Chau, or for Colum, type them into the chat box and let us know if you'd like Chau to talk in Vietnamese for a bit. We just have, this is a Vietnamese call today, so if you want to jump into Vietnamese, I'm sure, Chau, you'd be happy to do that. How about that question about how DCU is supporting students, Colum? How's online learning going from the students that you've chatted to? What kind of support is available for international students who are here studying from home?
Chau, you go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Firstly, my manager chased me by the WhatsApp the information about when my university closed or open. So I continue keep contact with my manager to exchange information about my university, and I continue finish my assignment, essay, or presentation by Skype with my tutor. So I think it's very good because I continue study, but I think it's more effectively with me. Yeah.
Thanks, Chau. Colum, how about your view?
Yeah, I think you heard directly from the student, and I think that is what I'm hearing from students across the board, is that they have found the transition to be relatively smooth. I think that there has been an understanding on both the students' part and on the lecturers' part that this is a new way of teaching for many people. It's a new experience for the lecturer, it's a new experience for the students, and there has been that understanding that they are learning and growing in this together. I think lecturers can be commended for turning around their courses in such a short space of time, because this all happened mid-semester. They had made the plans, and teaching online is very different from teaching in person. But from talking to students, it's worked really well. Lecturers have made the recordings available. They have made additional material available. They have made, they've altered their reading lists a little bit. They have worked with the students as well around timings and providing the students with additional times. And the other part of this is all of the support services are still available in an online capacity. So at DCU, we're very fortunate. We have a really strong student support and development network, and they work with students, and that's all available. So our career service is still doing their work. They're still meeting with students virtually, but they're still holding webinars for large groups of students, but they're also doing one-to-one meetings around getting a resume, what we call a CV, ready, so that students, when things do open back up, students will be ready to take advantage. The Math Support Centre and the Writing Support Centre, they both remain open, and they are meeting and looking to support with students virtually. And all the services offered by Student Support and Development remain open, and they're providing those services to students. So I think that the biggest change is just that things have gone online. There has been no reduction in the amount of support available to students. It's just a new way of doing it.
Mm-hmm. That's really great to hear, Colum. And maybe we'll come on at the end to talk about, what the fall semester is going to look like. But as we know at DCU, the postgraduate programs for international students are moving online. And so it's really important to hear that move to online has already gone pretty well for this semester, and that all of that support, including the Maths Centre, the Writing Centre, that is always available to international students is still there. What I wanted to do, though, is just move to thinking about, it's difficult, isn't it? But to thinking about life before COVID. And Chau, I wondered if you could share your story. What made you want to come and study in Ireland? What made you want to come to DCU? And what have you really enjoyed about being here in Ireland?
The first, actually, I like Ireland because my uncle live here, so my parents feel very happy when I receive support from my uncle here. And secondly, I want to talk about I love Ireland because I think I very suitable with the live here because it very quiet, fresh air, so I really like this. And after that, I choose DCU because I think DCU one of the top university in Ireland as well as in the world. So I find many information about DCU. So after that, I choose DCU as my choice. Yeah.
Chau, we've had a request from one of the people on the line. If you could give that answer in Vietnamese, would you mind speaking in Vietnamese? And Trang, if you'd like to unmute and ask Chau some follow-up questions, why don't we do 2 or 3 minutes now in Vietnamese for a bit?
Yes.
Yes. Hello, Chau. So can we start talking in Vietnamese now? Would that my Colum and Checker? Would that okay?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Hello em. Vậy là em đang ở bên đó với lại người nhà, đang ở chung với chú.
Vâng ạ.
Rồi mấy hôm nay học á thì tất cả là mọi thứ là online hết. Nãy giờ chị cũng nghe em nói là trường ok, có vẻ là em cảm thấy nó còn ok hơn là đi lên lớp bình thường hả?
Nói chung là có một vì là bọn em được gần như là giảm thiểu mấy cái bài thi cuối kỳ, thay vào đấy là mấy cái bài essay và assignment thì nói chung là cái lượng học ấy thì nó được giảm đi khá là nhiều.
Ừ.
Thế nên là em thấy ok, với cả cơ bản là mình cũng có thể trao đổi kiến thức với cả giáo viên qua email, Skype, nói chung là mọi người cũng giúp đỡ mình khá là nhiều ấy. Thế nên là
Ừ.
em cảm thấy là kiểu kiến thức của mình nó không bị hỏng, mà mình cũng có thể cải thiện nhiều những kỹ năng như ở trên lớp, cũng nói chung cũng không khác gì mấy ạ. Với cả những cái
Bình thường
vâng.
em nói đi về cả những cái gì.
Với cả những cái kiểu những cái lịch nộp assignment deadline ấy, thì mình vẫn phải hoàn thành đúng ngày ấy. Thế nên là
Ừ.
kiểu cái áp lực công việc thì coi như là mình vẫn giữ nguyên ở trên lớp chứ cũng không không gì thay đổi, chẳng qua mình có nhiều thời
Ừ.
gian hơn để mình hoàn thành cái đấy nó tốt hơn.
Tức là hồi trước nếu mà học on campus thì phải có những bài thi giữa kỳ khá là nhiều. Còn bây giờ thì chủ yếu là được giảm bớt mấy cái đó để bạn viết cái assignment, nộp
Vâng, assignment.
deadline là vẫn bình thường. Ừ.
Dạ.
Bình thường lúc trước học on campus thì chị nghe nói các bạn là học là tất cả các ngày trong tuần, học từ 9 giờ tới 5 giờ rưỡi luôn. Học
Đúng ạ.
nặng lắm không? Ừ.
Dạ, nói chung là so với các trường khác thì em nghĩ là hơn, nhưng mà nói chung là cái bọn em học như là bên cạnh những cái môn kiểu cung cấp những kiến thức cơ bản chuyên ngành thì bọn em được học thêm những cái môn như kiểu là communication or
Ừ.
society, nghĩa là nó cũng giúp kiểu nhiều về những cái kỹ năng xã hội ạ. Thế nên là
Ừ.
bọn em học từ thứ hai, thứ sáu và từ 9 giờ đến 5 rưỡi chiều.
Ừ. Trong lớp có nhiều sinh viên Việt Nam mình không?
Kỳ một thì không có ai ạ. Nhưng
Ừ.
mà sau kỳ 2 thì có hai bạn, hình như một bạn từ Đồng Nai vậy. Còn lớp
Ừ.
bên PG thì có nhiều hơn, có 5 người.
Ừ.
Còn
Học
kỳ một thì
master
có
thì
mỗi
nhiều
mình em.
hơn ha. Ừ. Đó. Thấy happy không? Thấy happy với lựa chọn này của em không?
Có, nói chung thấy cơ bản là lớp em năm nay thì cũng vui, có chung các
Ừ.
bạn đến từ mọi nơi thì
Ừ.
cũng trao đổi nhiều văn hóa, xong mà kể cả giáo viên ấy gọi cũng là rất là nice.
Ừ.
Mọi người cũng
Trong
kiểu
trong lớp có tổng cộng là bao bao nhiêu người?
kỳ một
Trong
thì
lớp
lớp
em
em
đang học á.
và
Ừ.
kỳ một lớp em thì có 14 người, nhưng mà kỳ 2
Ừ.
thì tăng lên khoảng tầm 28 người một lớp. Nhưng mà
Ok,
tùy từng
ok.
môn người ta sẽ chia ra cả, chứ
Ừ,
không là
đó là cái lớp học group chung ha. Rồi trong lớp em đang học thì là có các bạn là đến từ những nước nào?
ờ, các bạn đến từ vùng Trung Đông, Nepal có, ở
Ừ.
châu Âu thì có Đức, có Thổ
Ừ.
Nhĩ Kỳ,
Ừ.
có Ukraine, xong
Ừ.
là có vâng, với cả nước bạn mấy được dùng Trung Đông cả Saudi đấy.
Ừ. Ừ. Nói chung là những nước nào mà không nói tiếng Anh là chưa là vô đây học chung với lớp lớp mình hết.
Vâng, vâng, đúng
Ừ.
đúng đúng. Và như
Rồi
thôi.
có đi tham quan mấy cái lớp bachelor mà tương lai em sẽ học chưa? Thấy cộng đồng sinh viên của trường này nói chung như thế nào? Nó có năng động hay nó có chảnh chẹ, có dễ chơi không?
Nói chung là sinh viên này thấy cả mọi người rất là thân thiện ấy. Ví dụ kiểu
Ừ.
hôm ấy em mới đi vào cái campus ở Saint Patrick, vì
Ừ.
vì em học ở Onalo C, em sang
Hello.
campus Saint Patrick, và thế là mà kiểu máy in lần đầu tiên không dùng thế là kiểu
Ừ.
mấy cái bạn ở trường ấy không biết em dùng đấy, bạn cũng kiểu hướng dẫn em thôi. Nói chung là mọi
Ừ.
người rất là nice. Và
Rồi em qua học là từ tháng 9 thì có đi làm thêm gì chưa?
dạ em chưa, tại vì kiểu cũng thời gian đi học cũng nhiều ấy, với cả
Ừ,
nếu mà
phải làm
đi làm
quen.
cũng chỉ có thể đi làm thứ bảy, vì thường là chủ nhật ở bên này người ta đóng cửa hết. Xong là
Ồ.
thì thứ bảy thì thường thời gian em dành để em làm assignment, vì
Ừ.
nó cũng tương đối công việc cũng khá nhiều ạ. Thế là em cũng chưa kiếm việc làm
Rồi
thêm.
rồi tình hình Covid hiện tại thì mọi người có thấy có hoang mang lo lắng rồi giá cả thực phẩm này nọ có tăng này kia không?
Không ạ, giá cả thì nói chung là siêu thị thì mở, ba cái siêu thị lớn ở Ireland
Ừ.
thì đều là mở hết. Với cả
Ừ.
em thấy mọi người vẫn cũng có thể đi ra ngoài để đi bộ, nhưng mà vẫn kiểu
Ừ.
keep social distancing ấy, vẫn
Ừ.
2 km, nói chung mọi người không tiếp xúc nhau quá nhiều ấy. Còn việc vấn đề đi mua thực phẩm thì mọi thứ nó không tăng, chẳng qua là cái em nhớ không nhầm thì cái chợ người châu Á đóng thôi, còn mấy cái
Ừ.
Lidl với cả Tesco bên này thì người ta vẫn mở ấy.
Ừ.
Thứ
Nói
hai.
chung là mọi thứ cũng tương
Hey,
đối là bình
oh,
thường. Ok. So I
hey,
think that's
Trang.
it.
I
Yeah.
no, I thought I'd just interrupt for a minute,
Ừ.
because I'm sure this conversation is very useful for our agents in Vietnam. What I thought I might do is hand back over to Colum for 3 or 4 minutes, and if
Yeah.
Chau is happy to stay on the line, then we can continue in Vietnamese for a bit longer. If that would be useful. Does that sound good, Trang? Does that sound what
So
our agent
maybe I
is
just
like?
have like about 2 minutes so that Miss Hằng, the counselor, the agent of Chau can ask him one more question.
Yeah, well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say let's keep Chau on the line. So
Yeah.
ask that question, Chau, if you don't mind staying on the line. Colum, then we'll hand over to you to ask you. Uh, Maybe you could do two things. Tell us a bit about what's going to happen in September, and a bit about keeping us on track. To try and get our heads out of COVID, and tell us why DCU is a great institution as well. So
Okay,
yeah,
Jacob,
Trang.
the agent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
go ahead, Trang.
because the agents said that I already asked that question, so just go on with the column sharing.
Okay,
Yes,
so
please,
Chau,
Colin.
stay with us, and we'll pick up with you in a minute. Over to you, Colum.
Sure. Would it be useful to share the presentation, do you think, Jacob? Would that be useful for people? Or
What?
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yes, please,
yeah.
Colin. Yes.
yeah, okay. So what I'll do then is I will share that, and that should be on the screen now. So I'm going to talk a little bit around Dublin City University, Ireland's University of Enterprise, a place where I'm really proud to work. And I say that as somebody who graduated from University College Cork and who's worked previously at Trinity College Dublin and at University College Dublin, all of which are great institutions. But I really like Dublin City University. I think each of the institutions has its own unique culture, and I really like the creativity and the innovation and the approach at DCU. I really believe that it is student-centered. So I suppose the first thing to talk about is why DCU and what is it that DCU offers. And there's a few things I think that are really notable about DCU, alongside it being Ireland's fastest growing university. You have the fact that it's ranked in the top 100 young universities in the world. And being young gives it that agility, that ability to respond maybe a little bit quicker than some of the other institutions. And we'll talk about the way in which DCU has responded to COVID in a little bit. And I think the other thing to really take from this slide is the fact that DCU was named Ireland's leading university for graduate employment rate and number 19 in the world. And again, I'll talk in a minute a little bit more about the reasons behind that, but I think it's very impressive for Ireland's youngest university to have that, within its, I suppose, a string to its bow. So a little bit more then in relation to DCU. I thought it might be useful for those people who aren't familiar with Dublin or with Ireland as to where it is located. It's located in Dublin, which is Ireland's capital city, and kind of right there in the midway point of the country. Now, in an Irish context, Dublin is a large city. It's about 1.4 million people. That is not large sometimes on the world scale. But what's interesting about Dublin is two things, I think. One, it's a very condensed city, so it's very manageable to get around. But even though it is small in terms of population on a world scale, it really punches above its weight. And we'll talk in a minute again about some of the companies, but it is really the Silicon Valley of Europe. And because of that, I suppose even in terms of the social life, the number of concerts, the number of events that take place in Dublin is truly phenomenal. So there are always lots of things happening, and there's always a great buzz around the city. And it is a cosmopolitan, a diverse city. When you're there, it's a hub of activity. But if you get on public transport, you get on the bus or you get on the light rail system, you can go out into the countryside, you can go out to the mountains, you can go to the sea. So there are lots of different options for students to get out of the city, particularly on weekends, to walk, to take fresh air, and to see beautiful scenery. So then I suppose moving on then to talk a little bit about what I said around being agile, being innovative, being creative. So one of the things that DCU has done for the fall, the autumn semester is to move to an online learning for the postgraduate students, okay? Right now, we're still trying to figure out the undergraduate. Ireland's state exams have been pushed back by 2 months, and so that's going to impact the undergraduate start date. So this applies right now to postgraduate students. So we are in a period where universities are closed, there are travel restrictions, visa offices are currently closed. So there's a lot of uncertainty about when things will open up. Different countries are at different stages of lockdowns. Some countries are beginning to open up, some might extend those lockdowns. And so what DCU wanted to do was to try to provide a level of certainty for students so that everyone knew where they stood and everyone could make plans accordingly. And so that's why DCU moved to the On-Time Online initiative. And the reason is to provide students with the ability to start their course on time and to finish on time. I suppose the other options we're going to be looking to defer, and because in Ireland most institutions don't have a spring start for many of the big courses, it could be limited. There are some, and fortunately with EduCo we are lucky that is an option sometimes for students, and so, but it wouldn't be an option for everyone, and so DCU made the decision to do that, and the whole reason for it was for the health and safety of students, but also, I suppose, student welfare long term, in order that students could go forward with their plans. Now, of course, the people wanted to defer, they had that, but this provided students with the opportunity, wherever they are in the world, to learn online and then to come to DCU for the second semester. The first semester online and second semester in Dublin. So all of the supports that we talked about and that Chau mentioned, they are all still available to students. We've already talked about the student support and development. We've talked about careers. And so what's the important thing here is that whether it's in person or online, students will always be part of the DCU community. They will also be a fully fledged member of the DCU student body. So there is no distinction for us, whether it's online learning or whether it's on-campus, in-person learning, that students are students. And the other thing is, I suppose, the library has responded really well, and they have made all their resources, wherever possible, available online as well. So a couple of the questions that come up are around, I suppose, how is it going to be recognised? Like, there is not going to be any mark on anyone's transcript or anyone's parchment that they did their first semester online. This will be a truly immersive learning experience, and we're going to have a series of webinars in the coming weeks with our academics to talk about exactly how it will be delivered. I think they will benefit from being forced to go online this semester. As difficult as that transition was, it meant that they are much better prepared for next semester because they will have the summer period to plan. And so I'm sure it'll be even smoother next semester. There will still be students from around the world. And I suppose that the big piece is that students will then be able to graduate on time. So it won't push anyone back by a semester or a year. So if you're coming to do your foundation year, you can still start, or if you're coming directly to DCU for postgraduate, you can do that too. So it just allows that certainty. Right now it looks like the start date is going to be pretty close to the published academic calendar, so towards the end of September. For courses starting in January, well, that depends. If you're coming for EduCo Foundation, then you should talk to your counsellor, talk to EduCo, and see if that is possible. We don't think things are really likely to change in Ireland before September. That's the reality. We have the Chief Medical Officer and in Ireland and the Chief Medical Officer in the UK talking about the need for social distancing until the end of the calendar year. So we think it's really unlikely that this will change, and so that's why this decision has been made. But we will always adhere to the best public health advice. Now, it is a requirement that students get their visa before the course starts, okay, before you start learning, and that's really important. We don't want anyone to start and then have a visa rejected. So you must get the visa before your classes start, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And there will be on-campus accommodation available. So I suppose the why still DCU, and we've talked about this, but all of the things that were available are still available just in online. You're still available, can avail of that stay back option, the 1 year stay back after completing undergraduate studies or 2 years after completing postgraduate studies. You'll still have access to DCU's alumni network, and so you'll still have access to all your lecturers online. So all those things will still be there. And I think this is what is really important, and this is an area where Ireland is maybe a little bit different from others. So we talked about the fact that in the QS World Rankings, DCU #1 in Ireland and number 19 in the world. And there's been a lot of talk, and understandably, around the impact of COVID-19 on the world economy. You know, businesses are closed. I talked about the way in which they're beginning to change their models, but we have seen that there has been a report from the OECD that Ireland would be the least impacted economy. It would be the least severe in Ireland, and then that the economy could have a relatively rapid recovery. I think part of that is because the companies and that are based here, and you can see their report from the Wall Street Journal that big tech is still hiring, and we also know that Facebook have said that they are going to hire an additional 10,000 people this year, and it won't just be Facebook. Google will be doing the same. All of the giant tech companies will be doing that, and so they don't only look for data analysts. They do hire data analysts, but it's not just data analysts. They hire people from all sorts of courses because they have big human resources sectors. They need people who can write really well. They need people who are logical. They have legal departments. So they hire right across the spectrum, and they are flourishing. I mean, prior to maybe a couple of months ago, not many people were really utilizing the full potential of online meetings. Now look at that. So these companies are flourishing, and so there will certainly be opportunities for students when we come out the other side of this, and we will come out the other side of this. And I think it's important that people recognize the sheer variety and the volume of companies that we have in Dublin. You know, software companies, ICT, financial services, pharmaceutical, medical tech, all of those industries have, you know, they haven't seen a slowdown. Pharmaceutical is booming, medical tech is booming. All of those are the big industries in Ireland. You can see that's just a sum of the companies there. So I really think that while understandably for students and for everyone in Ireland right now, we are working from home, these opportunities will exist for students, and I think that's what makes Ireland a really distinct choice for anyone considering studying abroad. The Careers Service, they do so much work, and all of those things will still happen. There are still virtual careers fairs taking place. And I already talked about the ability to work part-time and the way in which the Irish government responded. So that will still be available to any students who come over. Once you register with immigration, you will have the ability to work part-time as a student and then to get that stay-back option. So just a little bit about student life then, and all of the services that are available to students to meet their needs, to help support them in their learning. just a student testimonial there, and this, I know Jacob is going to make this available to interested students and to agents, so that you can go through this in your own time, and really kind of take the time to read through it. So I'm not going to read through it all, but I think it gives an overview, and alongside what Chau has provided, I think shows the way in which DCU is a good choice for students, and the way in which DCU really looks to support students throughout their journey, from making that decision to arriving in Dublin, learning, and then even afterwards with the connection in to the DCU alumni network. So it's not just classroom, there's lots of stuff going on outside the classroom, and so on the DCU campus there is everything that students need to support themselves. And I suppose part of learning in the university is getting involved in groups, and there are lots of different groups that students can get involved in. And our international students are a really diverse and vibrant part of our college community. There is any number of clubs and societies that students can get involved in, and at DCU, the other thing is that there is recognition. Okay, so on your transcript, if you want to, it's voluntary, it's a decision for you, but you can get extra credits through the UNIN module. So if you're very involved in student societies or student life or student government, that can be acknowledged on your transcript as an addition. Not something you have to do, but it is something that is available to people. Chau has talked about this a little bit, but Ireland and Dublin are very welcoming and friendly. It's a place steeped in tradition and heritage. I mean, we have structures in Ireland that predate the pyramids. So that will tell you the kind of history that we have. You have access to nature to do all the walks, and it's really easy. We're very lucky to have a really integrated public transport system that's easy to use, and students get discounts with their student cards. One of the questions that always comes up is around accommodation. So I will say there are on-campus accommodation options. And I think Chau mentioned earlier around the different campuses. So DCU has 3 main teaching campuses, Glasnevin, St. Patrick's and All Hallows, and all of them have accommodation options. So there are on-campus accommodation options available. There's off-campus as well. And we will do webinars, again, as we get closer to students arriving, and we will make this, but I think it's just useful to know how you can go about searching for accommodation, and the different areas and the way in which Dublin is divided north and south, and it helps to know, because DCU is located in Dublin 9. I live in Dublin 8, and yet I walk to work every day. So I think that shows you just how compact a city Dublin is, and the fact that, you know, the weather is pretty kind overall. It's a very temperate country. It's never very, very hot. It's never very, very cold. Sure, we get some rain, but never enough that it causes any issues. So I'm fortunate to be able to do that. But I do think as well, for students, things to consider. And again, we will make this available to you, so you don't have to worry about taking anything down right now. Different types, and then just some advice for people in terms of what to look out for. Now, right now, the immigration service visa offices are closed. We'll probably find out on Friday how long that might extend or what the next steps are. I think that Ireland has, taken again some really good steps because they had to close the immigration office, but for anyone whose visa was expiring, it automatically got renewed. And we have also seen a movement towards a lot more documentation being accepted online. So I think when we come out the other side of this, there will be a fundamental change to the way in which immigration is done in Ireland. I think when people come to Ireland to register, they will probably initially have to register in person, but I think after that, it will probably all be done online through documentation. And I do think that the immigration authorities have been very good about communicating out. So they've been really good about getting the information out, and then we look to get that out to Jacob and the EduCo team. But they do keep an eye on the website. That's where they update. But they have been very, very proactive, and I would commend them for that. And I do think that this is a time to, use this time if you are, if you have your application, if you have your offer, if you're thinking about it, to begin to gather the documentation that you'll need. And what I would say here is that we are a nation of storytellers in Ireland. We love stories. That's what we spend our time doing when we're together, is telling stories. And that is part of our culture, and it's part of every aspect of our culture, and it's the same when it comes to applying for a visa. So we want to understand your story. That's what the visa office will want to understand. Okay, so they'll want to understand, why is it that you're coming to Ireland to study? What is your journey? What does it look like on the other side? And how are you financing it? So it's really important for any of the documentation that there's an explanation. So if you have a sponsor for your study, who are they? What's their relationship to you? Why are they choosing to sponsor you? That's the sort of stuff that's really, really important in an Irish context. Not every country takes notice of that. Some countries just want the documentation, but in Ireland they do want to understand those relationships and your story, and I do think that's important. So what I would say, really the takeaway from this, because you do have your EduCo contacts, but what I would say is to get a better sense of the institution, check out our social media. On the screen you can see DCU international social media, but the main accounts are really good as well. So Dublin City University's main Twitter account, main Facebook account is really, really active, and they do some really good stuff, and the Instagram accounts as well. And I just what I would say is that Ireland is like a fantastic place to study. It offers a truly top class, top tier educational system, but it is a safe and welcoming place, and it's a friendly place. And as I said, I think you get I suppose the benefits of a big city by coming to study in Dublin, but in a mere 20 minutes on a bus or on a light rail system, you can be out in the middle of the countryside and enjoying yourself. And I think I'm almost finished, but what I would say, and I say this in presentations, I think right now, while we've kind of pressed pause a little bit on the world, and I know things in Vietnam are really good and you're beginning to open up, but while you have maybe some additional time and you're preparing for the next phase and coming to study, this is a great time to begin to think about your future career and to begin to plan for that. So to take some proactive steps and to begin to put together your curriculum vitae, your CV or your resume, and to set up your LinkedIn profile, or if you already have a LinkedIn profile, to update it to ensure that your photo is accurate, to ensure that you have the fact that if you're coming to study abroad in Ireland, that you have that on that. That shows that you're somebody prepared to step outside of your comfort zone. Hopefully that's given you a real overview, and I think now we can go back and we can certainly talk to Chau and take any questions that you might have. There is Gurav Matagut, which is the Irish for thank you, because we have our own language, and I'd like to thank you for your attention.
Colum, that's great. Thank you very much. That's really fantastic. If you would stay on the line just for a couple of minutes in case there are any questions coming through from the now, 40 plus agents on the line. Guys on the line, Colum will drop off shortly, so do type any questions that you have for him. And then I think what I'd love to do is to hand back over to you, Trang, and Chau, and see if you'd like to pick up Trang, asking Chau any questions in Vietnamese. Yeah, and quick one before we move on, Colum, kind of turnaround time from the international office. I know applications, we endeavor to process them in 5 to 7 days. I would say that 80% of applications are processed within about 2 weeks. And there are occasionally some that need to go to faculty for additional review that can take longer. Does that sound about right? Anything that you'd want to add, Colum?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, Jacob. And I think the important thing to probably emphasize is that things haven't changed in that respect. Our admissions and assessment team are still working away from home. They're doing a great job. And so I think, yeah, you're looking at the vast majority of applications are turned around in 2 weeks. Sometimes it can be quicker depending on if everything is in place. It might be a shorter time, but the vast majority are turned around in 2 weeks. And it's only in cases where maybe somebody is borderline, or maybe there is some documentation awaiting, that it tends to go on a little bit longer than that. But we are very much open and accepting applications.
Thanks, Colum. And I think I'll just answer on your behalf that for September undergraduate, which of course lots of people have questions about, that isn't confirmed yet. At the moment, planning for September start as normal, but possibly moving online, possibly delayed start, but something that the university, and in fact all universities here in Ireland, are looking at really closely right now.
Absolutely, yes. I think there'll probably be clarity on that, hopefully in the coming weeks. I mean, I think DCU has shown that we make decisions for as quickly as we possibly can, but the change in the state exams, I think, means that for everybody right now, everyone's endeavoring to figure out what exactly it means for our undergraduate intake. But as soon as we have that figured out, we will communicate that information out to students and to parents and to agents.
Thanks, Colum. And how about the summer semester? I think international students on campus right now have been able to stay in their accommodation all through the summer, haven't they?
Yeah, so for students who are here, that is the case. DCU has made sure that it is home, and for some of the students don't have the option of going. Some countries have travel restrictions in place, which means that even their own nationals cannot return back to home. So DCU has ensured that anyone who doesn't have somewhere to go, they can stay on campus. Of course, other students have had accommodation off campus, but DCU keeps in touch with those students, and they will still have access to all of the services over the summer. Some people may be taking holidays here and there, but the services will continue. So the international office will remain open, student support and development will remain open, the career service will remain open. So the university doesn't stop over the summer. We don't press pause at all. Everything continues as normal, and so those students who are remaining, who are studying, they will have access to everything over the summer, and the level of support will not drop in any way, shape or form for those students.
That's great. Thanks, Colum. And I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us today and giving us so much of your time. Really happy if you want to drop off now, and we'll carry on with Chau. Chau, Colum, thank you.
That's
really
great. Thank you very much, Jacob. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank
you,
Colum.
Chau, are you still on the line?
Yeah.
Great,
I'm here.
Great, fantastic. Trang, let me hand over to you and Chau. You're welcome to carry on in English or in Vietnamese. If there are any, last questions I'd like to ask Chau, or any questions coming in from the agents.
Yes, great. Thank you, Jacob. Hello everyone. Xin chào mọi người. Không biết là các anh chị có câu hỏi nào dành cho Châu không ạ? Hello chị Hằng ơi, nếu mà chị Hằng có câu hỏi nào dành cho Châu thì chị Hằng cứ hỏi ha. Mình có thể mở cái microphone lên hoặc là đánh máy cũng được ạ. Hello Châu.
Dạ.
À, vậy là trong thời gian này thì em đang hoàn tất là học kỳ 2 của chương trình dự bị đại học.
Vâng đúng rồi.
Ừ. Theo plan hiện tại thì đến khi nào thì em sẽ xong học kỳ 2 này?
Nốt tuần này thôi ạ.
À, nốt nốt tuần này là xong rồi.
Vâng,
Ok. Không có thi cuối kỳ gì nữa, chỉ có nộp assignment hả?
vâng ạ.
Thì nếu mà khi mà em cần, ví dụ như cần à, hỗ trợ về một bài writing hoặc là cần hỗ trợ gì đó thì em sẽ làm như nào cũng phải vô system của trường là book hẹn lịch rồi sau đó là face to face online one to one meeting hả?
Không ạ. Bọn
Ừ.
em thì ví dụ đến cái thì nếu mà có mỗi lần có một bài essay ấy, thì thường là
Ừ.
người ta sẽ chia cái lịch nộp ra, ví dụ người ta sẽ cho mình nộp draft one, draft two, xong rồi đến
Ừ.
final draft. Thế là
Ừ.
trong cái thời gian đấy thì mình sẽ vừa làm mà kiểu cái người tutor của mình sẽ support mình về kiểu người ta sẽ chữa bài cho mình hoặc là đưa cho mình những cái kiểu những cái hỗ trợ để mình chỉnh sửa bài mình tốt nhất ấy,
Ừ.
xong rồi đến họ
Ừ.
cuối cùng thì mình nộp thôi chứ không nghĩa là thầy sẽ sửa sẵn ở trên
Chứ
lớp
không
và
phải là
kiểu
bỏ cho mình làm từ đầu đến cuối rồi sau đó nộp bài cuối cùng là chấm. Ừ.
vâng vâng ạ. Người ta sẽ chia ra để người ta giúp đỡ mình, ví dụ vì cơ bản là đây cũng là
Từng
khóa
chặng một.
foundation cho nên là nó sẽ giúp đỡ mình kiểu đấy, tất cả các môn đều như thế.
Hiện tại thì em đang học mấy môn trong học kỳ này?
Ờ, đầu đấy nhá, kỳ này thì bọn em phải học mà 5 môn nhưng mà về sau có hai cái lớp là accounting and finance. Cái lớp đấy của em thì đâu đúng rồi, cái lớp ấy của em thì kiểu cái thầy giáo ấy thấy không đáp ứng đủ yêu cầu thế nên là cho nghỉ. Thế hiện tại em chỉ học có 4 môn là
Ừ.
môn tiếng Anh, môn toán, môn society and interaction communication. Vâng. Kỳ này mà 4
Học
môn
có
thì chắc
nặng
là
lắm không? Cảm thấy là stress lắm không? Học kỳ 2 thì chắc em nhẹ nhàng hơn rồi hả? Chứ học kỳ một mới vào thì chưa có quen lắm.
Vâng đúng rồi, kỳ một thì công nhận là kiểu kể cả về assignment ấy thì khá là nặng, với cả mình chưa quen cái cách làm bài luận ở bên này ấy, nó khác hoàn toàn
Ừ.
với Việt Nam ấy. Đầu tiên là
Ừ.
cũng hơi chán nhưng mà về sau làm qua một hai bài thì quen thì cũng nói chung là cũng ok ạ.
Ừ.
Mới đầu thì ấy thôi mà về sau thì làm quen rồi.
Có bị stress về chuyện là học nguyên một tuần từ
Không,
9 giờ đến 5 giờ hơn?
không, ạ,
Chính
không ạ.
chính vì học nhiều như vậy nhưng mình không có cái áp lực phải tự giác học, phải tự
Vâng,
tự sắp
đúng
xếp thời
đúng ạ.
gian đúng không? Ừ.
Vâng, kiểu đến lớp nói chung là cũng vui nhưng mà không không kiểu kiểu chán nản hay là chán học gì ấy, nói chung là
Ừ.
vui.
Rồi có thời gian để tham tham gia các hoạt động gì khác không?
Có, nghĩa là bắt đầu thứ thứ sáu thì thường bọn em sẽ được về sớm tầm khoảng 12 giờ tan, hoặc hôm thì 3 giờ chiều tan thì bắt đầu em mới đi lên phố chơi cùng với các bạn ở lớp, đi chỗ nọ chỗ kia tham quan
Đi
Dublin
phố
với các bạn cùng lớp.
background dính vô hết. Đó. À, tức là cũng có đi tham quan hả?
Dạ
Đi
vâng.
tham quan nói chung là vòng vòng trong Dublin hay là có được đi chỗ nào xa xa chưa? Có đi thử
Bọn
Sligo chưa?
bọn em thì đã có ý định đi cái công viên Fantasy Park lớn nhất ở
Ừ,
châu Âu ấy,
ừ,
công viên trong đấy
ừ.
thì nhưng mà đang có dịch kia là đầu tiên cái là cancel.
Ờ.
Tức là bọn
À, tức
em
là cái đó là trường trường tổ chức,
không ạ,
trường tổ chức
nghĩa
cho sinh viên
kiểu
đăng
lớp
ký đi.
em nó muốn đi với nhau nên là nó tổ chức với
À,
nhau.
ok. Thì nếu mà nhìn những tổ chức đi ra nước ngoài như vậy thì vấn đề visa thì trường có hỗ trợ tụi em xin không?
Cái đấy thì em không biết, thì tại vì lớp em cũng với cả em cũng em nghĩ cái đấy chắc là có thôi.
Chưa có tiến hành gì hết là đã bị dịch nó
Vâng,
chặn lại rồi. Ừ.
vâng, vâng.
Trong lớp học cũng khá là vui hả? Các bạn hòa
Dạ
hòa
vâng,
đồng
vâng,
không?
các
Dễ chơi
bạn
không?
có. Chung kiểu cơ bản nó cũng kiểu toàn người châu Á, xong rồi nói chung là ai cũng thân thiện hết ạ.
Thì cũng tôi nói ok. Rồi
Vâng,
em là đang học ở campus là On Hello.
dạ vâng.
Đi lại em đi bằng phương tiện công cộng hay là có đi xe riêng?
Xe bus ạ, bọn em xe bus.
À, đi
Tại
xe
cơ
bus
bản là
hả?
xe bus ở trên Dublin thì nó cũng nhiều ấy, với cả nó cũng tiện ấy.
Ừ.
Thế nên là đi xe bus với cả giá thì nó cũng rẻ, tầm khoảng 20 đồng một tuần là chị đi
20 đồng
thoải
một
mái.
tuần.
Vâng.
Cái đó là em mua theo giá sinh viên rồi.
Dạ vâng, đúng rồi, là sinh viên.
Em có gì chia sẻ với các anh chị và các bạn ở đây nữa không? Ví dụ như là trước khi quyết định qua học Ireland là cần phải cân nhắc cái gì, có cái điều gì làm em rất thích, có điều gì làm em cảm thấy là cần phải warning các bạn là chỗ này nó như này như kia.
Đầu tiên thì em nghĩ là vấn đề thủ tục thì chắc là cái vấn đề chứng minh tài chính là kiểu nó lằng nhằng và khó khăn nhất đối với người
Ừ.
Việt Nam. Vâng. Còn khi sang đây thì em thấy là đầu tiên là cũng hơi sốc văn hóa một tí. Vì cơ
Ừ,
bản
buồn quá
là
hả?
ở nhà thì mình không quen đi cái phương tiện công cộng ấy ạ.
Ừ.
Nên là sang đây đầu tiên thì cũng không biết đi, mà về sau thì tất cả mọi thứ là sử dụng Google Maps hết, thế nên là cũng thuận tiện. Với cả mọi người bên này thì cũng rất là tốt, kiểu cũng giúp đỡ ấy, kiểu người dân ấy, nói người dân nói chung với cả thầy cô giáo thì cũng giúp đỡ rất là nhiều. Với cả em cũng may mắn là vào được cái lớp mà kiểu bạn bè chơi thân với nhau, xong rồi cũng tất cả mọi người đều giúp đỡ nhau, cũng kiểu kiểu nói chung là em hòa nhịp với cuộc sống này khá tốt, không không có gì khó khăn mấy, là
Chỉ là thời gian đầu là cái cách học khác nhau quá cho nên hơi hơi
vâng,
hơi bị choáng một
đúng rồi,
tí, nhưng mà
vâng,
cũng may là tụi em học dự bị cho nên là có thời gian để
dạ
mà
vâng,
adjust.
đúng rồi,
Ừ,
vâng.
ok ok.
Ê, Châu ơi, cho chị hỏi chút xíu là mình đi học mà trong lúc học mình học nhiều vậy, ví dụ như giờ trưa mình ăn rồi chiều mình ăn rồi thức ăn là mình trường luôn hay sao em?
Vâng, chị có thể ăn ở trường ạ. Ở trường nó có căng tin, nó có cả cơm, cả bánh mì, cả salad, cả ấy, thế chị có thể ăn ở trường, không thì chị cũng có thể mang đồ ăn ở nhà đi, xong rồi chị có thể hâm nóng ở trường ạ.
Là ký túc xá là có chỗ cho mình nấu luôn đúng không? Mình tự mình đi siêu thị mình nấu rồi mình tự hâm ăn vẫn được đúng không?
Ký túc xá thì ví dụ nếu mà chị ở đấy thì chị được nấu thôi, chứ còn bọn em không ở ký túc xá trường thì bọn em sẽ chỉ nấu ở nhà, xong rồi bọn em mang
Ý
cái đồ
là
công
như
hộp
ý
đi.
là ở ở ngay trường nó có cái student lounge, có những cái chỗ mà nó đặt lò microwave để cho mình quay đồ ăn lại đàng hoàng đó, chứ
Vâng,
không
vâng.
phải là phải vô cái túc xá mới hâm nóng đồ ăn được.
Không, nghĩa là cái khu bọn em học ấy thì cái ký túc
Ừ.
xá nó ngay nghĩa nó ở gần đấy luôn ấy, nghĩa là
Ừ.
trong cái khu ấy luôn ấy, thế là
Ừ.
nó có cái nhà ăn, thế là bọn em có thể vào đấy để hâm nóng đồ ăn, nghĩa là nó cũng ở gần khu bọn em học
À.
thôi, trong một khu hết ạ, chứ không xa. Tại cái khu campus em học thì nó cũng không to lắm.
Ừ. Mà
Vâng,
mỗi campus đều có cái ký túc xá ở ngay tại campus đó luôn mà ha.
vâng, đúng rồi, đúng rồi.
Còn có anh chị nào hỏi gì nữa không ạ? Rất là cảm ơn em Châu ha. Những cái
Dạ,
thông tin rất là thực tế, rất là sống động, thì hy
dạ,
vọng là à, em và các bạn sẽ hoàn tất chương trình dự bị rất là thành công để
dạ.
sắp tới mình vô cái chương trình bachelor. Rồi sau khi em học xong cái chương trình dự bị này á, là còn thời gian rảnh. Mà bên Dublin thì chưa biết là lockdown đến chừng nào, thì em có dự định về không hay là vẫn ở tiếp tục bên đó?
Em ở đây, em sẽ kiếm việc làm part time job.
Cái bên
Vâng,
làm part time sao?
vâng, vâng.
Ok. Thì cảm ơn Châu ha. Nếu
Dạ
như
vâng.
mà so if you don't have any question for the questions for Châu or for Jacob, we I think we can end the webinar now. Hello Jacob.
That's great. Thanks so much, Trang, and thanks, Chau, and thanks everybody for joining us on the line. I think we heard a lot of really interesting things here. I hope you heard a little bit about what the situation is really like on the ground in Dublin. This is a global crisis for all of us, isn't it? And as you can see, we're all talking from our homes. We're all working and learning remotely. But I think there are some real positives to take from what's happening in Ireland right now. The response of the Irish government, both to the health crisis, but also to the economic crisis, give us real reasons to be positive, I think, and to hope, as that OECD report concluded, that Ireland might bounce back out of this global crisis amongst the strongest countries in Europe. And certainly what's been really encouraging to see is the Irish government committing to international students and saying that we want you here, and we want you as part of our economy and society. And then we heard from DCU specifically, both from Chau and from Colum, about how DCU are really supporting international students right now. They are, letting them stay here on campus right through the summer. They're delivering online teaching. The maths center, the English center is still open. A lot of support there. And then really we heard, why DCU? What is it about DCU that makes it a great institution? There's that great statistic that it's number 1 in Ireland and number 19 in the world for graduate employability. DCU is Ireland's enterprise university, and you know, it's reflected in the data there. The graduate outcomes for students are really good. So some reasons to be positive for Ireland, you know, amidst this tough time for all of us. So I hope you and your families are all well. Thank you to Trang for getting so many of us on the line here. Thank you to Colum, who's gone already. Thank you to Chau, and really looking forward to talking to you all again soon. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Jacob. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.